What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky and welcome to part 2 of the smart car build. The whole purpose of this project is to build something fun and exciting for under $10,000. Now, I purchased this 2013 smart car for $1,100. If you can see right here, we named him Smarty. To my other side here, you can see we have a turbo kit. We're hoping to take the smart car from 65 horsepower to hopefully about 160, 170 horsepower. And it's gonna be daily reliable. We spent about 6,000 bucks on the actual turbo kit itself. So the whole purpose of this build is to not only make something fun for 10 grand, but also have something reliable, dependable, and something you can actually make money with. Because don't get me wrong, we all love to do these builds, and I know you guys watch a lot of YouTubers that do this, but a lot of them have so much money they dump into these cars, and when they go to sell them, they never get their money out because they didn't build them correctly. So I'm gonna show you step by step on how we're actually gonna build this car, things we're gonna put into it, justifying the price, and how we're gonna be able to sell this car if I ever do decide to sell it for more than what I actually put into it. Just want to give you guys a warning. I am filming this with my iPhone. It's 118 degrees. My camera keeps overheating. So if the audio and the video is a little shaky, I apologize, but this is the best we can do until we get our setup going. So first off, when you do a project and you want to make money on it, you need to start off with your vehicle. Now, I purchased this 2013 smart car for only $1,100. If I were to go on Facebook or Craigslist, these things are selling anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000. So even as it sits, I could still sell it and make a profit as is. Now, the next thing you should think about is if I'm going to do any type of modifications or customizing, what kind of ROI or what kind of return on my investment can I actually get? And so I looked at a number of things. I looked at wide body kits, I looked at Lamborghini doors, but I think the best bang for my money was this actual turbo kit. Now this turbo kit, like I said, did cost $6,000, but if I add this to this, I'm assuming that I'm gonna get a lot more than what I originally put into it, because if I were to tell people I have a turbo smart car and it's fast and it does wheelies and all this other crazy stuff, I'm gonna get a lot more people wanting to actually check out that car. And also, since it's so hilarious, just like my old smart car, I don't know if you guys remember that one from my channel, you know, they went for a significant amount of more money. Now, that car was built okay, it was built for a Netflix TV show. This one we're actually gonna build correctly. And like I said, my whole goal is to keep it as close to stock or with stock manufactured parts and least amount of custom parts. So yes, this turbo kit is custom, but in Europe and a lot of the Brabus ones come with a turbo kit very similar to this. So getting the parts is actually not that hard. And this kit's been around for over, I think, 9 years. So this is something that's very affordable. So let me show you what comes with a $6,000 turbo kit. So right here we have a really good quality exhaust. It sounds amazing. Can't wait to put that on there. We have our header, we have our actual turbo, the intercooler, which we're gonna need to keep the temperatures down here in Vegas. We actually have an additional water cooler that connects to this to keep the temperatures down. We have all the lines and fixtures. We got some heat wrap, all kinds of really good stuff, our intercooling piping. Now, even though I have this stuff, we wanna make sure that we, and the standalone computer, if you see right here. So now that we have this turbo kit, we wanna make sure that we do it right, because we're gonna be dropping the whole cradle out of that car and working on everything. So while we're in there, we're gonna go ahead and replace the motor mounts. I have a brand new clutch. The clutch inside the car is good, but I want to put a new one in just to be safe. We have Bilstein shocks, brand new ones. Even though these shocks are okay, I want to make sure that we can put something in. These are only like 200 bucks for the set. We got some gaskets and some spark plugs, some other stuff. So even though when you do stuff like this, it drives me nuts when I see a brand new turbo kit, but then you look underneath the car and the car is leaking oil, has a water pump going out, all this stuff. Don't do that. Don't be cheap. Get the right stuff, fix it once, and I promise you, your build will look much more quality. And if I go to sell it, I can show people this video and they realize that I did it correctly the first time. So now that we got all that covered, let's go ahead and start the build. So the first thing we're doing is we're gonna pop open the trunk. We're gonna actually disconnect the battery. We're gonna put this thing up in the air and see what we're working with. So first thing we're gonna do is we just disconnected the battery, make sure we don't electrocute ourselves. And Mario's taking off the hood so we can get to the coolant and the AC. Look at that. Woo! I know, custom racing. So Mario's checking out the wiring harness. We're gonna have to disconnect these from the side so it can pull through here. So this way, as we drop the cradle, nothing will get torn out. So we're gonna drain the coolant, the oil, and then right now we're gonna start disconnecting the cradle. All this is held in by 4 bolts, and then we gotta take the under tray off. There's some bolts here. So once we take this off, we're gonna drop this tray. There should be about 6 mounts or 4 bolts for the cradle. And then this whole thing will actually just drop down completely. So fingers crossed, hopefully it goes that way. So we got the motor down. I'll give you guys a glimpse. As you can tell, this person never washed the engine bay. It is absolutely nasty. What do you think, Mario?
Very clean.
I know.
I love it.
They took really good care of it.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is probably wash all this stuff up, but this will give you an idea of what we're working with. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take an assessment of what's wrong with the engine, if there's any leaks, anything else, do the plugs, do the gaskets, check everything else out to make sure whatever needs to be ordered while we're taking this thing apart to put the turbo kit on it, we can go ahead and do it. So we're gonna be able to stuff the turbo kit inside here. I know there's some things that we're gonna have to remove here inside to make some space for the turbo kit. So as I'm sitting in the beautiful luxury interior of the smart car, you can see right here that the radio is extremely boring and plain. There is no aux cord, there is no USB, there is no Bluetooth, there is absolutely nothing. So to make this more a little better, we decided to do a very affordable upgrade, which is 189 bucks from eBay, is this touchscreen Bluetooth streaming. It also has a USB as well as camera login, so we can actually put cameras facing the front and back of the car all logged up to this, and it's actually fairly inexpensive, like I said, for only $189. So I got it functioning. It has Apple CarPlay, works just like my phone. You can literally tap, play whatever music you want to do, go to Google Maps or your maps on your iPhone. This thing's actually awesome. For 189 bucks, I'm super impressed. All right, guys, we got the engine together. We have our awesome intercooler right here. That's actually got a water pump that's electronic right here. That's gonna send water out to the front. I'll show you that in a minute. So this way it'll keep our turbo cool because we're in Vegas. We have the heat wrap to help keep temperatures down. Look at this custom exhaust. This thing is slick. Goes all the way down to that awesome looking muffler. I can't wait to hear the sound of that thing. We replaced all the spark plugs, valve cover gasket, timing cover, gasket, water pump, all the maintenance stuff. Everything to make sure that all this is complete and we don't have any problems, because since we have it out, we might as well do this. So if you're doing a project like this, make sure that you do all the little things, because there's nothing worse than not spending an extra maybe $100, $200 and not getting all this stuff done than taking it apart, putting it back together and wasting a bunch of time. Also, we have all new motor mounts all the way around. We got our new shock and suspension, which you're gonna put in here in a minute, but this is what we got. Now I'm gonna show you the front of the smart car, because we have to put the other intercooler and the water cooler for our turbo. All right, here's our beautiful smart car, and I apologize for it being dark. Here is our aftermarket cooler that's gonna be pushing water through, so we had to run it all the way from the front. And then we're gonna have to actually run coolant lines from the back underneath to the front. We're doing this, one, to make sure that we keep the turbo cool and don't lose that horsepower, and then also just to make sure that the car is running correctly at the right temperature. So we're also going to be putting a pusher fan in here to help push the air through, so this way it constantly stays cool, especially here in Vegas when it's 118 degrees. Here's the front end. Just to let you guys know, it all comes off in one piece. It's pretty hilarious. It's like building a toy model car. So there it is. We got the turbo kit. We only have a few things left. I'll show you here. We got the heat wrap, which we're supposed to be putting on underneath the car. We got all the carbon fiber bits that we're gonna be putting on here shortly. That box back there is full of it, so we're gonna be putting all that stuff in, all through the interior. You guys can see the new radio we put in. Look at that screen, it's almost as big as the dash. So it's definitely looking good. Hopefully here soon tonight, we'll be putting it back together and we're gonna fire it up hopefully tomorrow. So we had it running earlier, it didn't sound right. We figured the injectors might be bad, so we took the injectors off, swapped them with the stock ones. It still ran bad. Got all the way through it and figured out that our fuel pump was bad, and that's it sitting there. So hopefully the fuel pump's going in. We're gonna switch out the stock injectors with the aftermarket injectors, and hopefully it'll fire up and run smoothly, because last time it was sputtering, but we just tried them with the factory injectors and it fired right up, sounded good. So wish us luck. Holy shit, guys, it's finally running after multiple things. And how many times do we have to mess with this, Mario?
I think like 3 weeks, just finding out how the computer works.
Yeah, so we finally got the tune corrected. We changed the spark plugs, injectors. Then we had to follow up with the fuel pump, but now it's running. So we're getting ready to take it on its maiden voyage. So we're gonna leave the hood off for extra cooling here. We'll take it around the block and we'll let you know what happens.